Hello, everyone, and welcome to my summit, How to Raise Your Money Vibration and Embrace a Prosperity Mindset. And my special guest today is Suzanne S. Bailey, and she has a passion for spreading love, light, and joy, and bringing people home to their inner healer and guru. As an Amazon #1 best-selling author of the book Woke, energy coach, and intuitive, Suzanne supports and teaches people how to move out of pain and into power so they can experience peace in their minds, bodies, and spirits. She is a vessel for source energy, a Reiki Master, and is certified in healing beyond borders, awakening dynamics, and light bridge. Her techniques combine energy coaching, mindset shifting, and intuition to help her clients embrace their power to create miraculous, healthy, joy-filled lives. Suzanne offers individual sessions remotely and in person, as well as group programs, workshops, and retreats. Suzanne specializes in physical and emotional pain, trauma release, anxiety, and pre- and post-surgery healing support, as well as women's health issues. Welcome, Suzanne.
Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate you having me on your summit today, and welcome to all our guests.
Thank you. Blessing to have you. And our topic that we are going to be sharing today is how to be your own guru with energy before effort. And the first question I would like to ask you is, what are the top 3 common wounds that hold people back from creating prosperity? And what are some of the best ways to heal them?
So what I see mostly with my clients is the wounds are unworthiness, abandonment, surprisingly, and inauthenticity. So with unworthiness, that's sort of the root of everything, right? Because if we had self-worth, then everything else would deflect off of us like Teflon. But that is the root underneath everything. And then there's so many layers that go with that. So the way unworthiness can show up in your business is clients not paying you, or you don't reach your goals, or things don't go according to plan, because the mind will go look for evidence to prove that what you believe is true. And I love the quote by Max Lucado: "You are valuable because you exist, not because of what you do or have done, but simply because you are." And the next one, well, let me tell you a quick story too about the unworthiness that I learned from my daughter. She was in high school, and she was supposed to be studying for finals, and she slept late, and she's sitting at the kitchen table eating cereal and reading the box. And I'm like trying not to say anything because she's a teenager, and I'm running around the kitchen cleaning up, like trying to inspire her to get started. And finally I just said, "Honey, can you tell me something? Do you feel the same about yourself at the end of the day if you got a lot of things done or nothing done?" And she sat there for a minute, looked up, and she said, "Pretty much the same." And that just landed on me. We learned so much from our children that I realized that I had my self-worth was so tied up in what I got accomplished, and that if I didn't do anything, I really wasn't worthy. So I think that's a big one for all of us to take a deeper dive and look at. So abandonment. A lot of people experience abandonment on different scales. When we're little, we don't always know the impact of little things that our parents do that get stuck in our subconscious mind. So it can be a small thing, like you forgot to pick your child up from baseball one day. It doesn't have to be that you necessarily grew up in a dysfunctional home to have those abandonment issues show up. And the way they show up in business is a lack of trust that people are going to be there for you. So not believing that your employees are going to support your mission, not believing that your vendors are going to deliver what they say they're going to deliver, accurately and in a timely fashion. And even clients, not expecting that your clients are going to be there to carry their end of the bargain of what you've agreed upon. So that's sort of how abandonment can show up in your business. And then inauthenticity. Part of that is just believing that your history is your destiny. And not necessarily that you're trying to be somebody that you're not, because if you're an entrepreneur, you've already figured out that you're going to walk your own path, right? You're not going to follow in whatever was laid upon you by your parents or society or the church or whatever. But it can still show up in other ways further down in your business. For example, trying to do things by somebody else's format or style when it doesn't necessarily agree with how you authentically are, as a being. So I think it's important that we find our superpower, that we understand what our genius is, that we work, within what really works for us when our life is really in the flow. And I recently watched the movie Mulan, and it's a perfect example of being inauthentic. So when she was pretending not to be herself, things weren't working. Life was hard. She was struggling. But when she finally embraced her powers, she saved the emperor. So how do we work through all of these things? Well, I think doing subconscious mind reprogramming and shifting your mindset, doing energy work, taking the mind, body, spirit approach to finding these wounds and traumas, which are part of the human design. Nobody gets out of here without them. It's just sort of the way life is. So when we use those approaches, then we're putting our mind in service to our spirit. And our spirit, we find that through meditation and through prayer work, like really getting connected to your inner self, so that within your body, you can feel whether something is your truth or not. And then in the mind, we can do some subconscious mind reprogramming work, which is what I do a lot with my clients, is figuring out where those limiting beliefs are and taking those out and replacing them with enabling truths. And that's working with the subconscious mind, which is 90% of what runs our lives, and we don't know it. And it works actually faster than the conscious mind. But you can also, use affirmations and conscious reprogramming, like choosing every day to focus on what it is you want to create, and then turning the other cheek to the lack of that. So I love the quote by Buddha: what you think, you become; what you feel, you attract; what you imagine, you create. So I think that just keeps it pretty simple as to how all of this works.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you. In your opinion, what is a miracle, and can anyone experience a miracle? And if so, how do we create them?
Well, I love the quote from the Course in Miracles that says, a miracle is a shift in perception from fear to love. And we are born in love and we learn fear. So it's really making our way back to love. And then Osho says, be realistic, plan for a miracle. So I believe miracles are everyday occurrences. I don't think they're happenstance. I don't think that if you pray for one harder than someone else, that really comes into play with it. To me, because I do believe that a miracle is an everyday occurrence, then it's a matter of removing the blocks or the limiting beliefs that are getting in the way of allowing miracles to flow. And miracles can happen, in your personal life, but also in your business. And science has actually shown through quantum physics and neuroscience that our thoughts and our beliefs and the energy that we hold towards something actually do impact our physical world, because everything happens in the energy field before it happens in life and in our bodies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, what's the number one shift you have made or wound you have healed in the last few years that has had the greatest impact on your embracing a prosperity mindset for entrepreneurs or anyone, actually?
I would say from a business standpoint, it's letting go of that old paradigm that you have to work hard to be successful and to achieve. It's so driven in our society and in corporate America. And I spent so many years living by that. If I continue to work hard and show my worthiness and do the best I can and get good reviews, that everything would, flow to me. And what ended up happening was all of my hard work and efforts flowed money into other people's pockets, not my own. I made, a decent living and everything, but I worked for many years supporting salesmen that were making multiple six figures, while I was working for an hourly wage. So I think letting go of that belief is huge, because the universe really doesn't care one way or the other. It's just going to provide whatever we believe we deserve and whatever it is we're trying to attract, as long as we don't get in the way and block that energy. So again, going back to embracing what it is we're here to do and getting in the flow of that and using our genius and using our superpower. And for me, I've always thought that I was shy and I didn't have anything to share with the world and that I wasn't very smart. But looking back on it, I realized that that was just a mask I wore to not be seen and keep myself safe. So I could have just, stayed in a cubicle as an introvert for the rest of my life instead of doing this work and really finding what my superpower and my gift is. So a big shift from who I thought I was to who I've turned out to be today.
Yeah, wow. Well, I'm really glad that you made that shift and you're here helping people throughout the world heal their wounds. That's wonderful. I love what you said about embracing what we do and accept and use our superpowers, because you're right. We try different things thinking we want to be like that person. We want to be, and it doesn't work. We need to start doing something else and shift to our superpower. It's wonderful news. Okay, so I know you teach your clients to be their own guru. How does this apply to raising your money vibration and prosperity mindset?
Well, it's huge because there's so many teachers out there, so many courses out there. Buy this and follow this plan, and you'll make XYZ money and attract XYZ clients. And I did a lot of that, but what I realized was that if you don't follow someone that you're in alignment with, like you need to find a mentor that sort of has your similar superpowers. So for example, if your superpower is, speaking and talking and interacting with people one-on-one, and you are following the steps of someone who's really, really good at internet marketing and digging into Facebook and finding clients that way, then your superpowers don't line up with each other. And so what makes a really big difference is if you take all the information that you gather in, which there's tons of great information out there, but it has to line up with you. So that's what I mean when I say be your own guru. It doesn't mean that you don't take the information in, but you take it in and you funnel it through your higher self. And then you sit with yourself and ask, is this my truth? Will this way work for me? Is this, me working in my genius? And if the answer is no, then you shift off of that. You try something, it doesn't work, you go try something else. So for me personally, I was trying to do a lot of that, Facebook, internet marketing stuff. And when I was doing some work with a coach, I found out that my operating system is more ethereal. I'm more intuitive. I connect with people and get information. So sitting there trying to do it, if you're more in a power archetype, then you can just plow through all of that computer stuff and maybe create something that wasn't working for me. And as soon as I said, you know what, I want to talk, I want to speak, I want to get referrals one-on-one, I suddenly, without any effort, started inviting to do podcasts, getting invited on your summit. And as soon as I shifted and stopped doing what everyone told me I needed to do to build my business and started doing what's authentically me, everything just naturally started to shift. So I love the book, The Millionaire Mind, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. One of the biggest takeaways for me of that book was everybody wants to tell you how to do things, right? And so I got really lost in that. Everybody else is an expert on me but me. And one of the greatest things I learned through that course, which I use all the time, sometimes out loud with my friends and sometimes just in my head, is when people are projecting information on you and it's not your truth, then you just say, thank you for sharing. You're being polite, you're taking in the information, but you're not making it your truth. Because as soon as you make everybody else's truth your truth, then you get lost. And then you're not being your own guru, you're letting everybody else be your guru.
Right. Wow. Thank you. Can you share with our listeners, Suzanne, about your pep talk mindset protocol and how it applies to our topic?
I would be happy to do that. So PEP stands for personal energy practice. So this is what I teach some of my clients that are interested in learning it, and some of them I just help them with it when we do their sessions. But it's basically just managing your energy. So our energy field is here to support us, mind, body, and spirit. And as I said earlier, everything happens in the energy field before it happens out in the world and in our bodies. And so a lot of people aren't even aware that we have an energy system. And it's a huge part of what supports us internally and externally. And I loved when I learned that since everything is energy, then we are made of the same energy as the sunrise and the sunset. And I think a lot of people don't really take that in. I look at the sunrise and the sunset and the ocean, everything in nature, like every chance I get, and just try to feel the energy of that, feel the vibration of that, that I am that, and that is in me and I am in it. So to me, that managing of your energy field is just a huge better way to get through life, getting grounded in yourself so that when something happens, whether it's your energy or somebody else's, if somebody's angry or hurt or upset, then if you're grounded in your own energy, then that's not mine to deal with. You can have compassion for them, but you don't necessarily have to take it in. So that's what the PEP part is. And then TALK stands for self-talk aligned with loving kindness. So, what's going on in your mind? How do you speak to yourself? Do you speak to yourself like a child that you love? Or, are you scolding yourself all day long for things that you don't do right or where you got off task or whatever? So we have to keep our self-talk with loving kindness so that we feel positive and energetic and upbeat about where we're going and what it is that we want to accomplish in our businesses. And then mindset, our mindset is basically our experiences, the culture, the education, like everything that was put into our subconscious mind. As mostly children, we're programmed in the subconscious mind, pretty much in the hypnotic state. Science has shown between the ages of 0 and 7, it's not until somewhere between 8 and 10 that we start to create reasoning skills that allow us to determine things that happen to us. Was that about me, or was somebody just upset about something else? So mindset is where I do a lot of my work, again, going into the subconscious mind and pulling out the limiting beliefs and replacing them with enabling truths so that the subconscious mind is basically in service to the conscious mind and to the heart, and so that we're working with our desires and not against our desires.
Yeah, oh, I love that. Well, you're a big fan of group healing work, and I know sometimes when people may be speaking on stage or in an office with a group of people, one issue that women or maybe some men might have is a bladder issue, and that can be embarrassing. But can you share more? You have a bladder up program.
Mm-hmm.
Can you?
Yes. So it was interesting because I had a client, I was working with her on some trauma from some surgery. And so she happened to mention, she's a tennis player, and she said, when I go to play tennis and I hit the racket, like a little bit of pee comes out. Do you think you can help me with that? And I was like, wow, no, let's give it a shot, see what happens. So we did. And within 2 sessions, she had stopped. It was no longer an issue at all. And so I told, a couple of my friends that also work in the healing arts, and they said, a lot of women have that problem. Like, you really should, see if you can't pull together some sort of protocol. And, I remembered the basic concept of masterminds, right? Everybody hears about masterminds, but some people don't realize that goes all the way back to 1937 when Napoleon Hill published the book, Think and Grow Rich. And masterminding is basically referred to when 2 or more people come together in harmony to solve a problem. So, and then I discovered some work by Lynn Taggart where she spent 10 years researching like the power of group intention. So, it didn't take me long to figure out that, women like to share, right? Women like to come together in groups and talk about things. So I was actually on a vacation and just pretty much got a download of how to pull this protocol together. So it's a 21-day program. We start with a group call. There's like 3 group calls. There's individual sessions involved. I give homework, but a lot of it has to do with, I find that people hold childhood traumas, and their bladder is one place that they are. A lot of it is programming. You know, all the commercials out there that we see, the depends and the surgeries and the take this medication. And, you know, we even talk about it being funny, you know, like I laughed so hard I peed. Well, that's not really funny. I mean, if it really happens to you, it's not really a laughing matter. So I've run a couple of these programs. I've gotten great results. I've gotten some really good testimonials. People are actually surprised that, you know, in 21 days, by shifting their mind and doing some energy work, that we're able to solve that problem for them. In fact, one lady, she had had 2 surgeries, and it had been 6 months since her second surgery, and she was super discouraged. And her sister bought the program. And I told her, I was like, you've already had operations. Like, I really haven't worked on anybody that's had surgery, so I'm not sure how this is going to go. And she ended up being my superstar student of that group and ended up getting a complete healing. So
Wonderful. Wow. Now, if someone wants to find out more about this program, Bladder Up, they just go to your website, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
www.suzannesbailey.com. There's a little banner there, and then there's also a tab on the website that will take you to the program. The next one starts on January 26th at 7 o'clock. It's virtual as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. And you can also find out more about Suzanne. Her information will be below the video, and there is a button you can click on for her free gift. So thank you, Suzanne, for offering a free gift. It's a free chakra balancing video to our listeners today. And can you share with us why this should be a part of our daily routine?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So as I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the pep talk mindset, so PEP being personal energy protocol. There's a couple of those that you can do, but the basic one that I always like people to start out with is chakra balancing. You can watch the video and you can learn how to do it for yourself, and only takes 7 minutes. I tend to do it in the middle of the day. When we sleep at night, if you go to bed in a relaxed state, you're going to wake up and your chakras are typically going to be balanced in the morning. But by the time you scoot around through your day, that's when everything starts to get a little wonky. So I do mine at lunch, and then I do them sometimes when you go to bed. It's like brushing your teeth and taking a shower. Like, our energy field is with us all the time. And if in 7 minutes, you can spend that time every day making sure that your energy field is working on behalf of your goals, desires, and your passions in life, then I think it can really be a big game changer.
Wow, I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, we have a few more minutes. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
I just would like to send a blessing out to everyone that's watching this summit, because I know that you all have a passion for achieving your goals, and typically it's not only for yourself, but it's because you've got some sort of calling from source. You've got a genius and a superpower that is here to be shared with the world. And so my prayer for all of us in 2021 is that we find our genius, we embrace our superpower, and we do what the universe put us here to do with love and joy and gratitude.
Thank you. And I want to remind everybody, Suzanne's information again is below this video. Remember to check out her free gift. Just click on the button and check out her information too. We love you, Suzanne. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love you.
You have beautiful information to share with us today.
Thank you.
So we will see everybody again real soon. Bye for now.